Hello, and here we are again. My name is Bernard Grace, and this is my wife Terry Grace, and we are here again as an extension of Bridge Connect Ministries, and we've been doing a series of teachings on marriage, and we've divided up into different subtopics that we've discussed as it relates to marriage. This subject the subtopic that we're going to talk about today is marriage and the extended relationships. We know that you can be married, but you do have extended relationships, whether it be jobs, your career, your profession, and just actually meeting people, neighbors, and so forth. You have all kinds of multiplicity of extra relationships, external relationships. And we just want to again, suggest some things that you might want to do as it relates to those external relationships, maybe some things as far as how far should we go with those, where the kind of the guidelines that we should use as we relate to people outside of our marriage. So we're going to just kind of share with you on today.
Okay, and so when we're talking about this, we're not talking about excluding yourself, that you're exclusively only to associate with your husband or your wife, but we're actually just talking about what type of relationships can cause problems, because the whole marriage situation came about when, as I said earlier, I told them, some people that we've been married 35 years, they said, how? Well, we just thought to put it together in certain, what would we say, certain entities as to things that we did,
stages,
things that we've stages that we experienced as it relates to marriage. Perfect, no, but still together, yes. So we just want to kind of share these things with this. So external relationships, as he said, are relationships that are outside. Now, we're not talking about the family this time. We talked about the family on last time, but this time we're talking about associates.
Yes.
Some might say what began as associate, what might be, could be something else. So we just want to look at signs that may be issues, signs that say this is great, and signs that say, let's push off.
Because there are several of you that may be listening to us right now. Your profession calls you to be able to have to network with various kind of people. A lot of us are in part of organizations where we meet the needs of community and things of that nature, such as we ourselves. And then, I'm in ministry, so I meet people and be a relationship with them all the time. She's in real estate at this time, so she has to have referrals and all that. So there's a variety of relationships that we do have outside of marriage, and we have to keep those things in order, because I can't be challenging towards her relationships, because she needs those. She needs that kind of network in order to make her business go. So there are three things that we want to raise in this particular setting as it relates to external relationship. These things we want you to take in consideration. There are relationships that are a complete no-brainer. Stop. Sever the relationship. Move on with your life. Gain more different types of friends. Then there are some relationships that we can proceed, but you must proceed with caution. Use wisdom, intelligence, and then trust your instincts. And then thirdly, there's the go kind of relationships, where these are relationships that's going to be healthy. They sharpen your ability, they sharpen your gifting that you have.
And so I'd like to start by talking about the go relationship, if that's possible. Because, we think, or we settle all the time that, relationships, people we meet, I'm a friendly person, a people's person, and, and it's natural for me to meet a lot of people. I love it. I love learning from people, gleaning from people, and I love just
And they're learning from you.
Exactly. And so, with that being said, then you have both females and males that we come involved with.
So a goal relationship, and this is just one of many things that you can. A goal relationship is anyone that will connect you to other people to strengthen you as a person. Anyone that will connect you to other people that will strengthen you as a person with similar interests, which creates a good, clean exchange. So anyone that's genuinely concerned about you're doing better. You're meeting people and you're getting in circles that will take you to a greater level.
Right.
That's a good friend. That's a good friend because that's a good clean exchange because usually there's an old saying, birds of a feather flock together. So usually if someone wants to network with other people, you have in mind that you want to do the same for them.
Right.
So that's the exchange right there. It's a good clean exchange. We got to watch exchanges because everybody wants something. There are people that God sends into your life, and then there are people that attach themselves for you that are for reasons that are not good. And so you have to define now, what is it that you want from me? If you're going to give me something, what kind of exchange is going to be? And we got to make sure that's a good, healthy exchange.
Okay, so these are like, we may call them our girlfriends, as girls. We may call them our buddies. We may sell our homeboys, things like that. They want to see you do well. They don't see you do well and talk against you. These are very positive relationships. You need those positive relationships.
People that are happy for your dream.
Exactly. Those people who see your dream, and even if they can't help you with it, they don't stand in your way. So those are good relationships. You need those good relationships because sometimes we need other people we can check ourselves by.
Okay, so those are the goal relationships.
Absolutely.
Those that you would proceed and you would go and let that take you as far as it possibly can. Then next there is a proceed with caution, and in that kind of relationship, anyone that raises too many personal questions other than the purpose of the relationship that they have with you.
Okay.
So anytime personal questions are raised, if they're raised about your marital status, if they're raised about what do you do, what do you like, how much time do you spend here, there, these are personal questions that should not be raised from an external relationship. And we're not. I don't like to play gullible. I don't like to play like I don't know what's going on. You know when someone has asked you questions that are just simply too personal. You may say, "Oh, that doesn't mean anything." When you start talking to yourself like that, you're fighting back with the inward voice that's saying, "Hey, we're kind of getting over into a line that we don't need to be into."
And so it's okay. You might get personal for reasons that lead to information, but when it makes you uncomfortable, as you say it, there's a voice that says, why is he asking that? Because I have that, and most people have this tendency to say, what do you really want with that question? Where are you going? In other words, my thoughts are, at the end of the relationship, where should this relationship go? Where is this leading to?
You kind of drift from the real purpose of the relationship at its beginning. For instance, we met at a social, and I found out what kind of career you're involved in, what kind of things that you're involved in, whether it's community outreach and so forth, and then we work together as that.
And that's good.
But then when questions and conversation start getting too much one-on-one, then you enter into the danger zone.
Let's go out and have a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
Oh, let's go and have a drink.
And
is your husband home?
And when it's excluding your spouse.
Mate, right.
So these are things that you have to kind of listen to your inward feelings, and then you can proceed, but you have to proceed with caution.
And I'm going to share this. I deal with the friends that, in particular, that talks about how they met a person, and this young man in this case says some things that kind of take her back. Well, I told her, and I told her because I'm a lady too, that's dangerous. If it has you wondering in the manner in which you're wondering, it's dangerous. So, we're adults. And when you're as an adult, what would make you excited if you were single. It's going to make you excited if you're married. So when it's time to push you back, push back. When it's time to push back, just push back.
The scripture says for us not to put any confidence in the flesh.
Right. Absolutely.
The flesh and the spirit kind of war against each other. So you got to watch the flesh. We got to always keep our flesh under subjection. So a lot of people in Christian think your flesh won't go out there, but it will go out there. But you got to bring it back in subjection to the scriptures. You can't be controlled by your flesh, because that's the thing that leads you into dangerous territory.
Okay,
All right.
and so I wanted to say something that probably will bridge us into the next one, and that is, be careful then, with that being said, we're talking about good relationships, yellow lights, or those that you want to be cautious of. Then you want to be careful of how you feel at the time that you relate to them. Because where you are mentally, emotionally, makes a big difference in how you meet and how you perceive a person, good or bad. So if you're at what I call a vulnerable state, you're at a state that you need care. Maybe you need
Attention.
emotional attention. Maybe you need to hear that voice to say you look good. If you know that him saying that you look good takes you somewhere, or even halfway there, then back up.
Yeah. And then, there are things that, all kind of telltale signs. Don't drop out crumbs of where you are at certain times of the day. And you wonder why, people keep hanging around or whatever that's not good for you, and you keep drawing people to you that are not good for you. It's because you dropping little things out. You're dropping little hints out to let people know that you're really dwelling and you're really following after the flesh. And you spell out, you drop things out that make people know that evidently that person needs attention.
And then you began to look desperate or in need of. And
needy.
There's, good things don't always come when you're needy. I had someone to share with me the other day, and it was a great point. He says to me, if a man takes you on during a time that he's very confident and he's not in need, then he's taking you on in confidence and he's really interested in you. But if he takes you on at a time that he's in need of a place to stay, he's in need of, he doesn't have anybody else and you're the only thing around, then that relationship may not last. So therefore, in other words, you have to be careful of who you call to you. And by your words, call other people to you.
Yeah, so that's why during those times, whether you are a single person in the progress of getting married, whether you are a divorced person that have gotten a divorce, in the time that you are by yourself or a married person, you should spend that time perfecting your relationship with God and let Him fulfill those emptiness and those broken places in your life. That way, when you come before another person, you can be whole to your wife. You can be whole to the next person that may come in your life. You can be whole to the next prospect that in your life. You need to be whole in all relationship. You need to be whole. You don't need to look for somebody to make you whole.
Right.
You need to be whole. Let God make you whole. And you need to come in there 100 and find somebody else that's coming in there 100.
Okay.
So you're not coming in at 70. He coming in at 80. No, both persons need to be coming in there at 100. So we want to move on to those relationships that are just a complete stop. No, so, not here. I'm good. Let's keep it moving.
Not today, tomorrow, the next day either.
Anybody, again, that raises the question of how you and your spouse are doing, no. We all know, we've said it earlier in clips, that there are times when every day may not be a great day with your spouse, but that's the danger. Don't let anybody else know what day that is.
Well, you know what? Another thing I just want to inject right there, and I share this with some people. Sometimes if it's somebody that you're attracted to, you got to be careful of how you do. But that's not so. And I said that, but I had to think about that. You have to be careful of how that person perceives it, the relationship. So not only is it, I'm not attracted to him, so it doesn't matter if I go out to lunch. But if he's attracted to you, or if she's attracted to you, it doesn't matter that you're not attractive.
And before we close, there's the thing I want to draw to here as it relates to ministry. A lot of times, as a minister myself and as other ministers all over the world, you'll find out that a lot of people are drawn to you. Some people are drawn to you. And you got to understand, what is that draw? Most of the time, the draw is that people are of the opposite sex, and then we got to deal with same sex. But people of the opposite sex, a lot of times they're drawn to you by what God is doing through you. They're drawn by what God is doing through you. They're not necessarily drawn to you, but what God is doing. And then you got those that are drawn to you. But you got to know the difference. And you can take that attraction and pervert it and make it something else, when you need to just keep that as it is, and keep that and put that in its proper perspective. So all of those relationships will stop. So in all relationship, of course, you know that you want to always be able to include your wife on any of these stages. Any relationship, you should have no relationship that your spouse can be included in on. None.
And then again, if you have a platform, whatever your platform is, you have to understand you draw attention.
Yes.
And that attention may be just because you have a platform. Has nothing to do with I care about you, I want to build you.
You just
I
have
want
a
to be a
platform.
part. You have a platform. I want to be a part of that platform, so you go after it.
Yeah.
So that's not, you want to be careful of why, whether you're married, single, whatever. You want to be aware, whether it's a go relationship, a take heed relationship, or a bad relationship. You want to be sure of, why does this person want my attention?
So these are just some suggestions that we want to make to you, just to be aware of, just to give it some thought, and actually keep your marriage and your relationship with your spouse intact and in place and very much respectful. And God will certainly look upon you and bless you for it. God bless you, and thank you very much.
Have a great day.